Well, you may view it as payback time in the sense that in the early days when Putin first became president from 2000 onwards, he was fairly open to cooperation with the West. He even at some point spoke of some form of joining NATO. But as time moved on, he got more and more disappointed. He didn't get what he wanted. He felt that he was not being given the respect that Russia should be given, according to the Kremlin. And in 2010, they decided to allocate what was then worth $600 billion to rearm its military. And a few years down the road now, we're seeing the effects of that. There's a lot of hardware being poured in, and the Russian military is taking a very aggressive stance, not only in Ukraine, but air patrols against neighboring countries and lots of maneuvers, both on land and in the sea. So Russia is pushing a very aggressive military posture, and we will have to react to that somehow. Well, a week ago, I would have said it's no problem because it's priority spending. With the turmoil on the Russian market and the forecast for doom and gloom for the Russian economy, it's somewhat different, but it's still the case that although Russia spends more than twice what the EU does at 4.2% of GDP next year, it will be possible for the Kremlin to protect those outlays. It is controversial. The economics ministry and the finance ministry both want to see cutbacks on military spending, but that is under complete Putin control. And given the anti-Western hysteria that is building up in Russia now, they will protect security outlays and they will make cuts in education and healthcare instead, which is very, very worrying for the Russian population. Well, the neighbors that used to form part of Moscow's sphere of interest, or were parts of the Soviet Union or what was known then as satellite states, Eastern Europe, are clearly very, very worried about this. And they take the risk of an armed invasion very seriously. NATO apparently does not believe that Russia is going to have the guts to take on NATO in a full-scale military confrontation, but little countries like Estonia and Latvia, also Poland, do worry that especially that there is a gray zone of other types of military aggression that will fall short of full-scale military aggression. So the temperature is rising on the western edge. Whether the Chinese are worried about this or not is, of course, very difficult to say. You can never really tell what happens inside Beijing. But it's probably the case that the Chinese feel they're very superior to Russia in both economic and also increasingly in military terms. So I think that the Chinese attitude is that they would just love all these problems to simply go away so you can go back to doing business. The problem obviously then is sort of little neighbors on Russia's western front and the Scandinavian countries like Finland and Sweden. There is a lot of worry now, and this is going to be with us for quite a few years to come, unfortunately.